Hi. The target of this exercise is to make practice with the current knowledge and learn some new editing features. The exercise is the natural evolution of the previous one. In the previous, we have implemented an on-off cooling stage. Now we implement an on-off heating stage. You can see that they are very similar. The main differences regards the number of the relay we want to drive, 2 instead of 1, the name of the variable, of course, heating instead of cooling, the offset and differential 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 1. But the most important is that the cooling stage is on the right of the set point, while the heating is on the left. But even more important is the direction of the stage. The cooling is a direct stage, that is, it switch on when the temperature is high, while the heating switch on when the temperature is low. And so the strategy will be very similar. The main difference is that that we have to reverse somehow the logic of the stage. Regarding the user interface, we have only to show the heating status like before we have shown the cooling status. Okay, let's start from the strategy. So since the strategy is very similar, we can start copying and pasting the previous one. Okay, I start changing the number of the relay. It's 2 instead of 1. The offset and differential is 4 and 2 instead of 3 and 1. The name of the variable is heating instead of cooling. So how to create the heating variable? So we already saw how to create the variables using the V, but we can see another way. So I will double click the variable. You can see that here there is the list of the variables that we have created so far, so where we can select the variable. So now I will write a new name, heating. I will change also the description, heating status. Well, when I confirm, one tool states that the variable does not exist, and it asks if you want to create a new variable and use it where we have a double click. So I will select yes. So here is the new variable. You can see that you can see that there exists a new variable called heating, and that's it. Now I will immediately modify the mask. Okay, I copy the text and the field. Instead to place a new text and a new field, I just copy and paste and make the modification. This is heating status. The variable instead of cooling is heating. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the strategy. Okay, let's continue from here. Before we have changed the offset and differential, but the stage is still on the right of the set point. We have to yes, on the right. We have to move it on the left. So we have to reverse this and this. We have to calculate the position of the stage. Instead of set point plus the offset, set point minus the offset. So I will delete this and this and place other 2 blocks. We set the sub. Look at now there are some red connection. Red connection means that the one of the 2 extremities are not connected. So I can use those connections simply moving the block or also a variable over the extremities. So as soon as I drop a block which pin are over an extremity of the connection, okay, the result is this. Now I place also the head and then connect. Okay, it's not enough. It's not enough because the heating stage now is in the right position on the left offset point, but it is still a direct stage, like this. So we have to reverse the logic. The easiest way to reverse the logic of a stage is to use the not block. It is not the best way, the best block, but for sure it is the easiest for now. So I have to insert this here in this strategy. So the only way to insert a block in here is, also there are two ways. The first is delete this connection, and you know how to do that, but there is another way, that is move the current connection. In this way, click the connection. You can see that the system highlights the extremity with the red square. Now I will press the Ctrl key, click the red square, so you can see that the system disconnected the connection, so I can move it somewhere else. Also here, click Ctrl, click the red square and move here. After that, place another connection. Okay, that's all. Now we could test, but I prefer to improve a little the strategy here. In fact, you can see that now there are two blocks that do the same thing. Here we have the analog input cuff block that reads the temperature from input 1 and write the temperature in the room temp variable, and here the same. But why to do this operation two times? So I can save this block and use directly the variable in this way. So this is a good opportunity to say that in this language all variables are global. So everywhere you use a given name, room temp, for example, you use the same value. So here you can read and write room temp, here you can read and write room temp. We can do something more, that is delete the variable and connect the input of the block directly in this part to the variable, or left or right, here or here, it is the same, because all those pins use room temp. Well, you can see that the system placed the connection, it works, but there is confusion here. So we can improve the readability of the strategy moving this connection. So you can click, you can see that the system highlights some handles on the corner of the connection and in the middle of the connection. So you can click the green handle and move. Well, we can see some more details regarding this thing. So you saw that when you connect the two pins, when you connect the two pins, the connection is follow an automatic rule for the path, like this one. We just saw that you can customize the path like this. So now you can see that the part of the connection that you modified, the vertical segments, now stays always there, whilst move the other part. Another example. So another editing feature is this. If you want to place a connection in manual routing since the beginning, you can use another key. That before we use the control just to move a connection from a pin to another. Now we use the Alt. So I'm pressing the Alt, now click a pin, now I release the Alt. You can see that the look of the connection is different, is dashed or dotted. Now every time I click, it plays a new segment. Okay, and then click the end. Like before, you see that when you move a block, it moves only the extremity, while the center part of the connection remains in the same position. Another thing, when you click, if you click when you click the central point, central handle of a segment, and you press, and stated in the tooltip, you press the control, you can very easily add the 3 segments in that place. Well, the very last point is this. You can click. So if the path that has the connection, if you don't like it, you can modify it change it. Sorry, in the automatic routing. So click the connection, right click, reroute, and here is the result. Well, that's really all. Now we can simulate. So I install the default values, start simulator. So set point is 20, cooling differential is 3, so the cooling starts at 23. Okay, this is the previous exercise. 23, and here is the cooling, so this works. For the heating is a set point -4, that is 16. 16, here is the relay number 2, that is the heating, that is on, and switch off 2 degrees above, that is 18. Okay, switch off. So it works. Now we can see also the status in the mask, so it works. I can show you another very interesting feature of simulator. If you click the label of the input and output, you can change them. Cooling, heating, room temperature. Okay, probably it's easier to remember the function, the purpose of the input and the output. Okay, before to finish, I can show you a typical mistake. A typical mistake is this. Well, for sure, this strategy will work in a different way compared to before. Obviously, because since it is before this block, for sure works in a different way. So it is a typical mistake because the purpose of heating, the meaning of heating that we want to have is heating is the status of the heating device. The heating device is driven by the block, the out, with its input. So for sure, this should be connected here. And so if we connect somewhere else like this, what happened? It is not a complete disaster, because the relay number 2 works well, because number 2 depends on the output of this block, that is the output of the other, and so on. So that is exactly what we want. The problem is in the mask, because since we show heating in the mask, and since heating has in this case an opposite value, we would see something wrong in the mask. So we will see the heating on or 1 when the heating is off, and vice versa. So the message that I want to tell you is when you place variable and when you connect a variable, don't place connect them in the first place that comes in your mind, but connect it in the right place. Well, that's all for this exercise. Thank you for watching this tutorial.